Vel Vrisik, a fleet commander of the Zoreth Dominion, stood in the command center of her flagship, gazing out at the stars through the massive windows. Her alien eyes, a mix of curiosity and skepticism, watched as the distant stars twinkled in the vast emptiness of space. The hum of the ship's engines was the only sound, but her mind was focused on something far more important than the beauty of the universe. She had heard rumors, legends whispered among the crews of various star systems, stories of a mysterious ship, a ship that appeared without warning, destroyed fleets, and vanished just as quickly as it came. They called it the Black Ship. Vale had never taken such legends seriously. She was a commander, not a child who believed in bedtime stories. However, the reports of strange incidents along the outer rim of the galaxy had begun to grow more frequent. Alien fleets, highly advanced and much larger than most, had been attacked, their ships disabled without a single shot being fired in return. There were survivors, shaken and terrified. They spoke of a dark, shadowy ship that attacked swiftly and silently. No one had seen it coming. No one had ever caught a glimpse of it. All that was left was devastation. "I don't believe it," Vale muttered to herself as she glanced over the latest report of a destroyed fleet in the Juno system. The destruction was so precise, so calculated that it seemed impossible. Only one conclusion made sense to her. The Black Ship was no myth. It was real. Her first officer, Turok, entered the room, his heavy footsteps echoing in the silence. His expression was grim. "Commander, we've received another distress signal from a colony near the border of the Zoreth systems. It's the fourth one in the past month. They claim the Black Ship is responsible." Vale turned to him, raising an eyebrow. "And you believe them? Or are you also buying into this absurd myth?" Turok hesitated for a moment, his hands gripping the datapad in his hands. "I don't know what to believe anymore, Commander, but the patterns are undeniable. First, the colony's trade routes were cut off. Then, when they tried to send a convoy, it was destroyed, without warning." Vale sighed deeply, feeling a growing sense of unease that she couldn't quite shake. "All right. Prepare the fleet. We're going to investigate. And when we find this ship, we'll end this madness once and for all." Turok nodded, but he seemed to have his own doubts. "Are you sure it's wise to go after it, Commander? The stories say the ship is nearly unstoppable. No fleet has ever engaged it and survived." "I'm not afraid of a ghost story," Vale said, more to herself than to her officer. "We've faced worse odds and come out on top. This Black Ship will be no different." As the fleet set course toward the Juno system, Vale couldn't shake the strange feeling that had settled in her chest. The further they traveled into deep space, the more she thought about the stories. How could a ship, even one as advanced as this mysterious one, defeat entire fleets without firing a single shot? What kind of technology could pull off such feats? It didn't make sense. Yet every signal they received, every piece of evidence pointed toward the truth. The Black Ship was real. And it was out there somewhere. The stars outside her window were growing larger as the fleet entered the Juno system. But the only thing that filled Val's mind now was the unknown. What was this ship? Who were the humans behind it? And why had they become the stuff of legends? "We're entering the system, Commander," Turok said, breaking her from her thoughts. Vale straightened in her seat. Her crew was ready. Her fleet, powerful and well-equipped, was prepared for whatever lay ahead. But there was one thing she couldn't prepare for, the feeling that, despite all her strength, this mission might be something more than she had ever imagined. "Let's find out what's really out there," she said, her voice steady despite the rising tension. "And when we do, we'll make sure the galaxy knows that we, the Zoreth Dominion, are the ones who hold the power." The Black Ship was no myth, and it was waiting for them in the dark void of space. The Zoreth fleet moved steadily through the vast emptiness of space, its massive ships cutting through the silence like shadows. Vale Vrisik stood on the bridge of her flagship, staring at the screens ahead. The stars glittered like diamonds against the black backdrop, but there was no comfort in their beauty. She had a mission, and nothing else mattered now. The distress signal had been sent from a colony on the far edge of the system, and the Zorith fleet was there to investigate. "Commander, we are approaching the Juno system." Turok, her first officer, called out from his station. He was focused on his console, his eyes scanning the data that was pouring in from the fleet. Vale nodded but said nothing. Her thoughts were elsewhere. She kept thinking about the stories, the rumors that had spread across the galaxy about the Black Ship. The ship that appeared out of nowhere, took down entire fleets, and then vanished before anyone could respond. It was said that no one had ever fought it and survived. The idea haunted her, but she wouldn't admit it. "Let's keep our distance from the colony," Vale ordered, breaking her silence. "We don't know what we're dealing with. Prepare the fleet for a scan. I want to know everything about this place." As the fleet began its scan of the system, something strange happened. The energy readings from the colony were off the charts. There were signals, human-made signals, but they were faint, almost as if they were being purposely blocked or distorted. The images from their sensors showed the colony in ruins, buildings collapsed, and the ground scorched. No ships were in sight. Turok leaned closer to his console. "Commander, these readings, they're unlike anything we've seen before. It's almost as if someone has erased all traces of activity, but the damage is real." Val's heart quickened. What kind of ship could do this? And why leave no survivors? Could it be the Black Ship? Turok asked, his voice cautious. Vale stared out the window at the lifeless colony below. The thought of facing such an enemy filled her with a cold, uncomfortable sense of dread, but she pushed it away. She wasn't one to give in to fear. Not now, not ever. "Prepare a landing party. We're going down." As the Zorith fleet lowered toward the surface of the planet, the tension aboard the flagship grew. The entire crew was on edge. Vel could feel it in the air. Everyone was on high alert. They were about to enter the heart of something mysterious, something dangerous. As they landed, the air was eerily quiet. The planet's surface was barren and empty, with no signs of life. It looked as though the once thriving colony had been wiped off the map in an instant. Vale and her team disembarked, their boots crunching against the dust. The ground was cold, and the sky overhead was gray, casting an unnatural shadow over everything. There were no bodies, no signs of struggle, just silence. "Spread out," Vale commanded. "We need to find any clues that can explain what happened here." They moved cautiously, scanning every corner of the ruined colony for any signs of activity. But there was nothing, no movement, no sound, just the wind stirring the dust. Hours passed, and the only thing they found were remnants of buildings and equipment, some of it damaged, some of it untouched. It made no sense. If the colony had been attacked, why was there no trace of the attackers? Then, just as Vale began to wonder if they were chasing ghosts, a strange energy pulse echoed through the air. It wasn't loud, but it was powerful enough to make the ground tremble beneath their feet. The pulse wasn't like anything they had encountered before. It felt alien, like it came from something far beyond their technology. "Commander, what is that?" Turok asked, his voice tense. "I don't know," Vale replied, her instincts telling her to be on guard. "But I think we've just found a clue." Without warning, a flash of light filled the sky above them, and a massive ship appeared out of nowhere, dark, sleek, and terrifyingly silent. It was the Black Ship. The Zorith soldiers raised their weapons, but Vale stopped them with a wave of her hand. "Stay calm. Let's see what it wants." The Black Ship hovered overhead, a shadow that blocked out the stars. Then, a voice came through their comms, cold and emotionless. "You were warned to stay away." Val's heart raced. The voice was calm, almost friendly, but there was no mistaking the underlying threat. The Black Ship had been watching them all along, waiting. And now it had found them. She tried to respond, but the voice cut her off. "Leave now. and no harm will come to you. Stay, and you will regret it." Val's eyes narrowed. This wasn't just a warning. It was a challenge. The black ship was not a myth. It was real. And it was waiting for them to make a move. "Retreat," Val barked. Now, as the Zorth crew scrambled to return to the fleet, the black ship didn't attack. Not yet. It simply watched. Val's mind raced. What was the black ship? Who were the humans behind it? And why had they come to this planet? The answers were just beyond her reach. But one thing was certain. They had only just begun to uncover the truth. The Zorth fleet moved swiftly away from the surface of the ruined colony, the weight of the encounter with the black ship hanging over them. Val Vrisic, standing at the helm of her flagship, couldn't shake the image of the dark ship that had appeared out of nowhere. It was like a shadow that had come alive, unseen, but ever-present. She stared at the display screens, trying to make sense of what had just happened. "Commander," Turok's voice broke through her thoughts. "The black ship is still following us. It's holding its position above the planet." Val's eyes narrowed. "It's watching us, then. But why? We've left the planet. It should be gone by now." Turok studied the readings on his console. "It's not attacking, Commander. It's simply observing." Val's thoughts were a whirlwind. Everything about the black ship was unlike anything they had faced before. It wasn't just its dark, intimidating presence, but the way it moved, calm, patient, and always just out of reach. The legends of the black ship weren't exaggerations. This vessel had the power to destroy, and it seemed to know exactly how to strike fear into the hearts of those who crossed its path. She took a deep breath. "Prepare for a long-range scan. I want to know everything about that ship." As the fleet continued to move through space, the black ship remained in the distance, a looming shadow against the stars. Its presence was unsettling, but Val knew that she had to stay focused. She couldn't let fear control her actions. The Zorth Dominion had faced enemies before, and they had always come out on top. This would be no different. Hours passed, and the data from the long-range scans began to pour in. The black ship was unlike anything they had ever seen. Its design was sleek and futuristic, but there was no sign of any recognizable markings or insignia. The scans showed minimal energy readings, so minimal that it was as if the ship was using almost no power at all. Yet its weaponry was off the charts. It had the capability to disable entire fleets with ease, but it wasn't clear how. It didn't make sense. "Commander, we've detected something," Turok said suddenly, his voice sharp. "There's a small craft leaving the black ship. It's heading toward us." Val's heart skipped a beat. "A small craft? Are you sure?" Turok nodded. "It's very faint, but the readings are clear. It's coming directly toward us." The bridge fell into tense silence. A small craft leaving the black ship. What kind of ship could come from such a powerful vessel? Val's mind raced with questions. If this was some kind of trick, a trap, they had to be ready. "Send out a warning," she ordered. "We're not welcoming guests today." Turok quickly relayed the message, but before he could finish, the small craft appeared on the radar. It was small, but it was moving fast, closing the distance between them at an alarming rate. "Open a channel," Val commanded. The screen flickered to life, and a face appeared on the display. A human face. It was young, barely an adult, with dark hair and piercing eyes that seemed to hold secrets. The human's expression was calm, almost serene, but there was an undeniable sense of power in the way he looked at them. "Greetings," the young man's voice was smooth, almost soothing. "I am Agent Kylan. I come on behalf of the black ship." Val stared at him, unable to hide her surprise. The black ship had a human pilot. How was that possible? Was this some kind of deception? "Who are you?" Val demanded. "What is the black ship? What do you want from us?" Kylan's lips curved into a faint smile. "The black ship is not an enemy. It is simply a warning. A message from the humans who have seen the truth of the galaxy. A truth that you will soon come to understand. Val's patience was wearing thin. A warning. A message. You've destroyed fleets, wiped out colonies, and now you expect us to listen to your message. Kylan's smile faded slightly, but his eyes remained unwavering. You misunderstand, Commander. We do not destroy without reason. We eliminate threats to the balance of power, to the natural order. The black ship exists to protect, not to conquer. Protect. Val's voice was cold. From what? And why destroy innocent colonies? The galaxy is changing, Kylan said, his voice growing more serious. You and your people are about to learn something that the universe has known for a long time. Humanity is no longer a small, insignificant species. The balance has shifted. You have a choice, to either accept this truth and join us, or stand in opposition and risk everything. The words hit Val like a shockwave. Humanity. How could a species, so young and seemingly fragile, think they could change the balance of the entire galaxy? I'm not interested in joining anyone who threatens innocent lives, Val replied sharply. If you think we'll bow to your so-called truth, you're mistaken. Kylan didn't flinch. You'll see. The truth is undeniable, Commander. Soon, you'll understand why we had to take the actions we did. Without another word, the screen went dark, and the small craft veered away, returning to the black ship. Val stood in silence, her mind reeling. She had always believed that the Zorth Dominion was the strongest power in the galaxy. But what had just happened? What kind of force was humanity becoming? The black ship was no myth. It wasn't just a shadow in the dark. It was a warning. And soon, Val would have to face the full truth of humanity's place in the galaxy. The Zorth fleet moved cautiously through space, the black ship still hovering at a distance. Val Vrisic stood at the command center, her hands clenched behind her back. Her mind was heavy with the words of Kylan, the young human who had called himself an agent of the black ship. The message was clear, and it unsettled her. Humanity was not what it seemed. The balance of power in the galaxy was shifting, and the Zorth Dominion might no longer be at the top. Turok, standing beside her, broke the silence. Commander, the black ship has not moved. It remains in position above the planet. Val nodded, but her thoughts were elsewhere. The calm way that Kylan had spoken about humanity's truth felt like a challenge. It was as if he had already decided that the galaxy would follow humanity's lead. But she couldn't understand why. What made humans think they could change everything? They were a young species compared to the Zorth, their technology less advanced, and their military capabilities nowhere near as powerful. Commander, we've analyzed the data from the encounter, Turok continued. The black ship is not just a weapon. It is more than that. Its energy readings are unlike anything we've encountered before. Val turned to face him, her eyes sharp. What do you mean? Turok hesitated, looking at the readings on his console. It's almost as if it draws its power from an entirely different source. The energy it produces, it's not conventional. It's like something we've never seen. But it's stable. It's not just powerful, it's controlled. Val's mind raced. Could humanity have discovered something the Zorth hadn't? Was there a secret power behind the black ship, one that they were hiding? She couldn't afford to ignore the possibility. If humanity had found a way to harness energy that the Zorth couldn't even comprehend, then everything had changed. She stared out of the window at the black ship, its dark silhouette barely visible against the backdrop of the stars. The ship seemed so calm, so patient. It wasn't rushing to engage or destroy. It was waiting. We need answers, Val said finally. Prepare a team. We're going back to the surface of the planet. The crew moved quickly to carry out her orders. This time, they would find out more about the humans and the black ship. The mysteries were too great to ignore. As the Zorth fleet descended once again toward the planet's surface, the atmosphere felt heavier, charged with anticipation. Val's mind was focused on one question. What was humanity hiding? Why had the black ship appeared, and why had it chosen to show itself now? The landing was swift, and Val's team once again stepped onto the barren surface of the ruined colony. The wind was cold, carrying the scent of dust and decay. The colony, once home to thousands, was now just a collection of broken buildings and twisted metal. Nothing moved. Nothing made a sound. "Stay alert," Vale ordered. "We don't know what we'll find this time." The team spread out, scanning the area for any sign of life or any indication of what had happened here. Vale's mind kept going back to Kylan's words. The truth is undeniable. What truth? What had humanity discovered that could change the entire galaxy? As they explored the ruins, the Zoreth soldiers found something strange. Buried beneath a pile of rubble, they uncovered what appeared to be a communication device. It was small, made of a material that looked both familiar and unfamiliar at the same time. It had markings on it, human markings. Val's heart skipped a beat. "Bring it here," she ordered. "Let me see it." The device was carefully placed in her hands. It was oddly warm to the touch, and there was a faint hum emanating from it. She could feel a strange energy coming from it, something that was both calming and unsettling at the same time. "What is it?" Turok asked, his voice tense. "I don't know," Vale replied, her eyes scanning the device for any clues. There was something about it that didn't sit right with her, but she couldn't put her finger on it. Just then, a voice came through the comms. It was Kylan again. "I see you found it." Vale froze. "What is this? What is this device?" Kylan's voice was calm, almost too calm. "That device is the key to understanding everything. It's a piece of technology that we've uncovered, something that has been hidden for centuries. Humanity was never meant to be a small species, struggling for survival. We've always had the potential for more. This device is the key to unlocking that potential." Val's eyes widened. Hidden for centuries. What did that mean? Was humanity really sitting on something so powerful that it could change everything? "This device is a gift," Kylan continued, "and it is not just for humanity. It is for all who understand its true purpose. The balance of power is shifting, Commander. You can either be a part of this change or stand against it. The choice is yours." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving Vale standing in the ruins of the colony, the strange device in her hands. She felt a sudden rush of doubt and uncertainty. What was this technology? And why had humanity chosen to reveal it now? The galaxy had always been about power, but what if power wasn't the same as it used to be? What if the rules had changed? Val's thoughts swirled. The truth was just out of reach, but it was closer than ever before. Soon, she would understand what humanity had discovered, and she would have to decide where her loyalty truly lay. Val stood in the command center of the Zoreth ship, staring at the device. It felt strange in her hands, almost alive. The hum it emitted was subtle, but there was no mistaking its power. The warmth that radiated from it seemed to pulse in rhythm with her heartbeat, and her mind buzzed with the implications of its existence. This small object could change everything, and yet she still had no idea how. She glanced over at Turok, who had been working tirelessly to analyze the device. His brow was furrowed as he studied the data on his screen, but it was clear that he was just as confused as she was. "Any progress?" Vale asked, her voice steady, but carrying an undercurrent of impatience. Turok shook his head. "No, Commander. The materials, they don't match anything we know. And the energy readings, as I said before, are unlike anything we've encountered. It's as if this device draws power from a source we can't even identify." Val's grip tightened around the device, her mind racing. Kylan's words echoed in her ears. "The choice is yours." Was this the moment? The moment when everything changed? She knew that the Zoreth Dominion had held its place at the top of the galaxy for centuries. Their military might, their technological superiority. It was all they had ever known. But humanity was different. The black ship, this device, It all pointed to something greater. What was the purpose of humanity's rise? Was it their destiny to leave the galaxy? Or would they use this power to destroy everything that had come before them? Her thoughts were interrupted by the crackling of the comms. It was Kylan again. "Commander Vale." Her fingers tensed. "I'm listening. You've seen the device. You understand its potential. But there's more you need to know." Vale didn't speak, but her mind was already moving ahead. What else could there be? "The black ship is not just a weapon or a tool," Kylan continued, his voice calm but carrying an edge of something. "Determination, maybe. It's a living entity. It chooses its path. And just like the ship, the device you hold is a key to unlocking what humanity truly is." A living entity. Vel's mind recoiled at the thought. A ship that could think for itself. She had never heard of anything like it. Kylan's voice continued, unwavering. "The black ship and the device share a bond, Commander. It's not about control. It's about evolution. The galaxy is changing, and humanity is the catalyst. The question is, will you stand by us, or will you fight what's inevitable?" Vel was silent for a long moment, her mind racing with the weight of his words. Could humanity really be capable of such power? She had always seen them as a lesser species, struggling to survive in a galaxy dominated by the Zoreth. But now, there was something different about them. This wasn't just about survival, it was about evolution. Humanity, it seemed, was on the verge of something far greater. She looked out the window of the ship, watching as the black ship loomed in the distance. Its dark form was both menacing and mesmerizing. It had waited for centuries, biding its time. And now it was ready to reveal its secrets to the galaxy. As she watched, Turok approached, his face serious. "Commander, we've detected another fleet. They're moving toward the black ship." Val's heart skipped a beat. "Who are they?" Turok quickly ran the analysis. "It's a coalition of smaller factions. They've heard the rumors about the black ship. They believe it's a weapon, and they intend to destroy it before it can be used." Val's jaw tightened. This was exactly what Kylan had warned her about. The fear of the unknown, the desire to control. The Zoreth had always thrived on fear and power, but humanity's intentions were different. They had a vision that could reshape the entire galaxy. Her decision was clear, but it was not an easy one. "Prepare our fleet. We won't allow them to destroy the black ship." Turok looked surprised. "But Commander, they outnumber us. They'll overwhelm us before we even have a chance to strike." Vale met his gaze with determination. "We don't need to overwhelm them. We need to show them that the era of domination is over. We'll protect the black ship, not with force, but with purpose." The fleet readied itself, moving swiftly toward the location of the approaching coalition. As they neared the black ship, the tension in the air grew thick. Vel could feel it in her chest, the heavy weight of what was at stake. This was not just a battle for survival. This was a battle for the future of the galaxy. The coalition fleet arrived shortly after, and the two forces stood facing one another in the cold vastness of space. The black ship hovered quietly between them, its dark form casting a shadow over the battlefield. No one moved. Then, Kylan's voice came through the comms again, soft but resolute. "We're ready, Commander. The choice is yours." Val's heart raced. This was it. This was the moment where everything changed. She looked to her fleet, then to the black ship. Her decision had already been made. There was no going back now. The galaxy would either evolve with humanity, or it would stand against them. The space around the black ship was still. The rival coalition fleet hovered at a distance, their ships glinting under the distant light of the stars. Vel could feel the tension in the air, thick and heavy like a storm waiting to break. Her heart pounded in her chest. This was the moment she had prepared for, but nothing could have prepared her for the weight of the decision she was about to make. She stood on the bridge of the Zoreth ship, staring at the massive form of the black ship through the viewports. Its dark, nearly invisible shape seemed to grow larger with each passing second, as if it were drawing her in, ready to reveal its secrets. Humanity's ship. Humanity's future. Her comms beeped. It was Kylan, his voice calm but resolute. "Commander, we've waited long enough. They're preparing to attack." Val's fingers tightened on the controls. She knew the rival fleet would never accept the black ship's power without a fight. Fear and pride were dangerous allies, and the coalition saw the black ship as a threat to everything they had built. But Kylan was right. The time for diplomacy had passed. The choice had already been made. "Prepare the fleet," Val said, her voice steady. "We will show them the truth. They will see that the era of domination is over." The Zorth fleet moved forward, following the black ship closely. The tension was unbearable, the silence stretching out as the rival fleet continued to advance. Vel could feel the weight of history on her shoulders. If she was wrong, if humanity's vision was doomed to fail, it would be the end of everything they had fought for. Then, without warning, the first shots rang out. The rival fleet opened fire, their weapons bright against the dark void of space. But Vale didn't flinch. She knew the black ship was more than just a weapon. It was a force, a living entity. And it was ready to defend itself. The black ship's engines roared to life, its dark surface shimmering as it began to move. The rival ships, in their fear and confusion, fired more, their weapons striking the space around the black ship, but they didn't touch it. The ship moved effortlessly, dodging their attacks with the grace of a predator stalking its prey. Val's heart raced. She had never seen anything like it before. The black ship was more than just an advanced piece of technology. It was alive, responding to the threats around it, adapting in ways no one had anticipated. "We need to act fast." Kylan's voice came through her comms again. "The device you hold, it's the key to controlling the black ship. Use it." Val's fingers hovered over the small, glowing device she had kept close to her side. It pulsed with an energy she could feel deep within her bones. It was calling to her, urging her to act. She didn't fully understand how it worked, but she didn't need to. She had already chosen to trust humanity's potential. She had already chosen to lead them into this new era. With a deep breath, she pressed the device. The change was immediate. The black ship's surface rippled as if it were alive, its dark form shifting and twisting. The energy around it surged, and the ship seemed to expand in size, growing even larger, more powerful. The weapons on the rival fleet's ships flickered and went dead, their energy suddenly drained. The ships themselves stopped moving, as if caught in an invisible grip. Vale could feel the power now. It was overwhelming, but it was also calm. The black ship had accepted her command. She wasn't in control of it, but she was a part of it, and it was responding to her will. The rival fleet was now completely still, their weapons disabled and their ships frozen in space. The Zorth fleet moved in closer, surrounding them. "They're not attacking anymore," Turok said, his voice filled with disbelief. "How? How is this possible?" Vale turned to him, her eyes wide with awe. "It's not about power. It's about understanding. Humanity has always been about more than just survival. They are capable of so much more than anyone realizes. This is their future." She looked back to the rival fleet. The once menacing ships were now no more than helpless shadows. The galaxy had been afraid of the black ship, but it was clear now that the true power of humanity lay not in destruction, but in transformation. Kylan's voice came through the comms again, and this time there was a note of pride in it. "You've done it, Commander. The galaxy will never be the same." Vale took a deep breath, her mind racing with the possibilities. The rival fleet was no longer a threat. They had shown their power, but they had also shown their willingness to bend. The black ship had chosen its path. It was not about domination. It was about evolution. Val's eyes moved back to the massive ship that hovered before them. She had made the right choice. There was no going back now. The black ship was humanity's gift to the galaxy, and the galaxy would have to learn to live with it. As she looked out at the fleet of ships that now surrounded them, Vale realized something. Humanity wasn't just the future. They were the change the galaxy had been waiting for. The stars around them seemed to pulse with a new energy. The black ship loomed large in space, a shadowy giant that had changed everything. For days, Vale and her fleet had waited. The rival coalition fleet, now crippled and silent, remained motionless in the vastness of space. The galaxy watched. It was the moment that would determine humanity's future, and perhaps the future of all races in the universe. The black ship, with its mysterious energy and unmatched power, was now at the center of everything. Vale could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on her. The device she had activated still hummed in her hand, but the power she had felt before now seemed to settle, calm, as if the black ship had chosen its path. "Commander Vale," Kylan's voice crackled through the comms. "The rival fleet, they're ready to surrender. They've seen what the black ship can do. They want peace." Vale turned from the viewports, her eyes narrowing. The fleet that had once threatened her people, that had shown such arrogance in its strength, was now ready to negotiate. The black ship had done what no words or weapons could, had shown them the potential of humanity's power, the power to transform not through force, but through understanding. "Send the message," Vale replied, her voice firm. "Tell them we are not here to conquer, but to unite. Humanity is not the enemy. We are the future." The crew moved quickly, relaying her message across the comm channels. The words echoed across the space between the ships, reaching the rival fleet. The silence that followed felt like a weight on Val's chest. She waited for a response, for a sign that the universe was willing to change. And then, the communication screen flickered to life. A figure appeared on the screen, an officer from the rival fleet. His face was tired, weary from battle, yet there was something else, an understanding in his eyes. "Commander Vale," the officer began, his voice cautious but respectful. "Your ship, it is unlike anything we have ever seen. We cannot fight it. We see now that humanity is not our enemy. We are willing to listen." The tension in Val's shoulders eased. This was the moment. This was the chance humanity had fought for. She was not just leading the Zoreth fleet anymore. She was leading a movement, a new era of peace, cooperation, and understanding. "We are here to offer you something greater than conflict," Vale said, her voice steady. "The black ship is not a weapon. It is a symbol of what we can all become when we look beyond our differences. Together, we can forge a future where all species can thrive, not through dominance, but through unity." The officer on the screen hesitated for a moment. Then, slowly, he nodded. "We will speak with our leaders. This changes everything." The screen went dark, and for a long moment, the bridge of the Zoreth ship was silent. Vale took a deep breath, her eyes still on the place where the rival fleet hovered. She had not expected an easy victory. The black ship had not been about victory. It had been about change. It had been about showing the galaxy that there was a path forward, a path that didn't require war. Kylan's voice broke through the silence again, this time with a touch of awe. "You did it, Commander. You brought peace." Vale turned to face him, a small smile tugging at the corners of her lips. "No, Kylan. Humanity did it. We've always had the potential. Now we just need to help the galaxy see it." As the days passed, the black ship became a symbol, not just of power, but of possibility. The rival coalition fleet, once a threat, now stood as partners, joining in the negotiations for a new future. The once divided galaxy began to unite under a banner of cooperation. Every race, every species, began to realize that they had a role to play in this new era. The black ship moved across the stars like a shadow, guiding the way. It was not a weapon of war, but a beacon of hope. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as leaders, showing the galaxy a new way of being. Vale stood on the bridge of the Zoreth ship, staring out at the stars. The future was uncertain, yes, but it was also full of possibility. She had always known that humanity had the power to change the universe. Now, they were proving it. As the black ship glided through the vastness of space, a new chapter began for humanity. A chapter of peace, unity, and transformation. And as long as they remembered the lessons of the past, there was no limit to what they could achieve. Vale looked out into the endless stars, a smile crossing her face. The galaxy was watching, and it was ready to change.